Okay, joining him in the center of defense, and, hang on, Juve fans, okay? Hang on.
Don't spoil it. Don't spoil it.
All right. Joining him in the center of defense is Napoli's Kalidou Koulibaly. He didn't join Serie A until 2014, but man, what an impression he has made. Arguably has been the best defender in Serie A over the time since he's been there. Again, Juve fans, calm down. You look at his appearances, 168 appearances, and in a system under Maurizio Sarri that was just breakneck attack, keep the ball, play very expansive. Guys are throwing forward. It's underestimated how much responsibility that puts on a defender like Koulibaly, who has so much to cover, as a result of having to play those tactics when they get countered, if they end up playing against teams who have some superiority in possession, and things of that nature. And then under Ancelotti's system, he only got better. So the fun part is he's in our team of the decade this decade, and if we are doing this long, he'll probably be in the team of the decade in the 2020s too. He's only 28.
Oh my goodness.
So, that's the other thing that's probably underestimated about him. His best football is still ahead of him, and he's made this team of the decade. He's just such an impressive defender for Napoli. He's so important to what they want to be able to do as a team, and certainly for his performances and for what he has meant to the Partenopei, deserving to be in our team of the decade, Richard.
Yeah, I'm not going to compare what he's done with other people, but he's one of the best defenders in the world, if not the best defender. For the spell that he's been one of the best defenders in the world, it's really been only him. Other defenders who are on this list, Chiellini, Godin, some of these other guys, they've had a partner to work with. He's pretty much done it by himself. Yeah, you got Albiol, Whoop-de-Doo, Maximovic, some other guys. It's really been Koulibaly carrying the Napoli defense, and what a fantastic job he's done. He's stellar defensively. He breaks down plays before they get into the box. He's got offensive skill as well. He makes a passing ability. He's got leaping ability. He scores some crucial goals for Napoli throughout the decade. He can make his runs as well when he wants to go up the pitch. He just does everything, and he's so good at everything he does, but especially defensively, he was a shutdown player. He would shut down everybody that came in his way. Yeah, every now and then a forward would get something on him, but for the most part, if you need a shutdown center when it came down to crunch time, Koulibaly is one of the first names you'd think of, and he is absolutely deserving of a central defender in our team of the decade. He is that good, and he will continue to be good because, as you mentioned, 28 years old. I would have not guessed that. I would have guessed, if I had to guess, maybe like 32 or 33, something like that. He looked like a seasoned defender, but I guess when you start at a young age and get lots of game time is what gets you better, folks. Yep. That's what kind of led him to be where he is right now, and I can't wait for the next 5 to 10 years with him because he could only get better, I would imagine, because as you get older, you get smarter and position's going to be better. Look out, whoever he ends up with, if he stays with Napoli or goes somewhere else, he's going to be fantastic for them.
Yep, I totally agree. As I've said, just so pivotal to Napoli's success through the years. Maybe Napoli gives up a few more goals than Juventus does every season, but I don't think that should negate what Koulibaly means to Napoli. And could you imagine him in Juve's back line?
Oh my goodness!
With those guys, who would score on that team? Now Napoli fans are mad. Don't give Agnelli any ideas, right?
My.
So sorry, guys. Sorry, Rafa. Sorry, Ken. Anyway, so yeah, that's our center back pairing. So now, Juve fans, you can get rid of the torches and all of your lynching equipment. Giorgio Chiellini does make our team of the decade. We're just going to have him deputized at left back. So
he's more than capable.
Yeah, and he's more than capable. In fact, he did that for the Azzurri. He did that at times for Juventus. He was called on, especially very early in his career, and he's like Paolo Maldini is making that transition from left back to center back. I'll leave it up to everybody else to debate who's wearing it better. So I know what my answer is going to be. Because of Maldini, there's Chiellini, but that's another. I've got to squeeze a Milan player in here somehow, Richard. So, looking at his time at Juventus, it's just he's less appearances than Bonucci. About between not looking at that 2009, 2010. I think he's made around 300 appearances if I did the math right. Looking at this, he has scored goals throughout the decade, so he's pivotal on set pieces. But he's another guy that shuts things down. He's another guy that you don't want tackling you because you will limp around for 3 days. Bit of a hard man, bit of a throwback when it comes to Italian defenders. And it's funny that you don't really see many players like Chiellini in today's game. So you appreciate that element about him too. But Giorgio Chiellini rounds out our back four.
Yeah, probably when you think about shutdown defenders, he's the other name you think of. Really, what a fantastic player, a true leader as well. He was my closest for captain pick because he's that kind of leader. He helped with the Azzurri. He helped obviously Juventus. Such a iconic player defensively. And just in general, when you needed a big goal, you knew he was going to come through like on the corner kicks or free kicks with his headers, his heading ability, his defensive marking, being able to shut down some big time strikers from the opposition, game in and game out. He had some injury troubles, in the late part of the decade, but other than that, when he was in there, he was one of the better players in the world, and he still continues to be one of the best defenders in the world, even at his ripe old age. So, this guy, many people wonder why he wasn't in our starting central defenders, but we wanted to make it a back four, and he can certainly play the left back position. He's done it before, and he certainly has a skill set to do it. So he's just a remarkable player. There's not too many times I'm going to praise Juventus players, but he is one of the players, him and Buffon for sure, that stand out. That such great players, great people, but such iconic figures on the field, on the pitch, that really changed the way the games were played when they're out there.
And also, remember, we're trying to have a functional system when we pick our team of the decade, and the midfielder that's going to be in that midfield three, we want him to have a little bit of freedom going forward. So we'll tell you who that is here in a little bit. So Buffon's our goalkeeper. We have a back four of Javier Zanetti of Inter, Leonardo Bonucci of Juve, Kalidou Koulibaly of Napoli, and Giorgio Chiellini of Juventus. And Chiellini, the only player on this list that has won 8 Scudetti in this decade.
Wow.